Today, I'm going to show you how to make a instant respawn system that uses almost no memory and allows you to teleport all players at the same time without them teleporting at the same location. But first, let's start about revolutionizing your game development experience with Map Academy. Designed for both beginners and veteran UEFN developers, Map Academy is your ultimate toolkit for creating stunning maps without the headache of complex mechanics. Our comprehensive package offers an extensive collection of both scripts and assets, making your development process smoother and more cost-effective. With Map Academy, you're not just purchasing tools. You're joining a thriving community of developers who share your passion. Need help or have a question? Our support team is always ready to assist. Plus, we offer new scripts every month to keep your projects both fresh and innovative. So why spend countless hours and dollars when you can achieve more with less effort? Check out Map Academy in the description below to embark on your game development journey today. Now, let's dive back into the video. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing we want to do is go to your Verse Explorer, right click on your project name, hit Add Verse File to Project. Then I'm just going to call this our Respawn Manager and hit Create. Once this is created, go ahead and double click it to open it up. This will open up your verse code. The first thing we want to do here is get every single player and track whenever they're eliminated. So to do this, whenever the game starts or on begin, I'm going to go through every single player in the play space. So this gets the play space, and then we need to get the players in that play space. So this will go through every single player in the game, and we'll call a function called track elimination, just like so. And we want to call it for this player. Then we also want to track the elimination for players who join the game. So I will get play space dot player added event and subscribe that to this track elimination function. Now let's go ahead and make this track elimination function by just going on here, calling it our track elimination. We'll receive an agent, return nothing. And then in this function, the first thing we need to do to actually track this player's elimination is get the Fort character for that agent. So to do that, we'll make a variable called Fort character, and it's going to be equal to our agent got get Fort character. And here we get an error because we need to use characters. So I'll just copy this, add it to the top like so. Now we have the Fort character. We can subscribe the eliminated event to a function, but we don't have any function to actually call for this, eliminated player. So before we do that, let's go ahead and create a function that's actually going to instant respawn for the player. So let's go ahead and create one of the locations that we'll use to respawn the player. And we're going to make a custom class for this so we can ensure no two players spawn at the same location. So to do this, we will call it a respawner, and it's going to be a class. We need to make sure it is concrete. And now in this, we need a prop that's going to be used to get the location for this respawner. You can actually just include a vector 3 if you don't want to use a prop, but I find just using props and placing them around your map is the easiest for setting up different spawn pads if you want to add more. So I will add an editable, and this will be location prop, and we'll just make it a creative prop, just like so. Now we also need another logic variable that we're going to use to determine if this respawner is currently available or if a player has recently spawned at the spawner. So error saying var is available, and it is logic, and we'll originally set it equal to true because we want them all to start as available. Now we need to make a function that will actually use this respawner. Before we do this, I'm actually going to go back to our main respawn manager class, and in here we're going to need one main thing, which is going to be our teleporter. So this is going to be used to actually teleport the player to our respawner location. So I'll just call this our respawn TP, and it's going to be a teleporter device, which is equal to a teleporter device, just like so. So now if we go back here, let's go ahead and make a function that's going to start this respawner. So we'll call this try respawn, and we're going to send it our respawn TP. So we'll just say TP, and it's of type teleporter device. And here we want to return a logic variable. So just so we can get rid of for the time being, I am going to just hit a return false here. That way we have no errors and we can actually add what we want in this. In this function, the first thing I'm going to do is check if the respawner is available. So if is available, just like so. And if it is available, we want to do something else. And then if it's not available, we want to return false. So if the teleporter is available, then we want to teleport the teleporter that we sent to the respawner's location. So first, let's go ahead and get the location of our respawner, which will be the location of this prop. So I'll say location prop dot get transform dot translation, and I'll go ahead and make this a variable. So I'll just say respawn position, and then I'm actually going to duplicate this and also get the rotation just like so. So we'll change the variable name, and then instead of getting the translation, we'll get the rotation. Then we want to teleport this teleporter device to this location. So I'll say if tp dot teleport to, and then we need to send it the position, comma, and then we need to send it the rotation, just like so. And I'm actually going to change that to these brackets. So once we teleport the teleporter to the location of this respawner, we will want to activate the teleporter, but we do not want to do it inverse because that'll be automatic. We'll instead connect it from the player spawners, which I'll show later. Then the only other thing we need to do is actually handle what happens is available, because we no longer want it to be available, at least for some time. So I'm going to call another function that will reset this respawner. So I'll call it like this, but I also want it to spawn so that we can actually have a delay inside of it. So I'll make sure to spawn it like so. And then down here, let's go ahead and create this function. So it'll be called reset. It will suspend and it returns nothing. So in this, the first thing we want to do is set our is available equal to false because it's no longer available. Then we want to sleep for like a delay. So let's say like 3 seconds before it becomes available again, and then just set is available equal to true again. So whenever the respawner is used, if it's available, it will teleport the teleporter to the respawner location, and then it will spawn this function, which sets it to no longer be available, and then waits 3 seconds and then makes it available again. Now what we need is actually an array of these respawners that we can use in our game. So I'll make an editable and I'll call it our respawners, and it's going to be an array of type respawner, which is the class that we just created, and we'll just initialize it with an empty array like so. So now that we have our array of respawners as well as our respawner class all set up, we can now go back down to our track elimination function and track the elimination for the players. So we will say fc.eliminated event, because every Fort character has this event, and then we will subscribe to another function that will say on eliminated. Now let's go ahead and make this function. So if we go down here, call it on eliminated, make sure it returns nothing like so. We'll just add a block. So in here, you normally would think just to put an agent, but that's not true. Let's go ahead and fix this, and then control click on this eliminated event. You'll see it listens for an elimination result. So if we go back to our respawn manager, and we'll just call it our result, which is of type elimination result. See, we don't get any more errors except for we need to use the Fortnite.com/game directory. So just copy and paste it up here. Now, if we remove this and actually look inside our elimination result, we have an eliminated character and an eliminating character. So here, what we want is the eliminated character because we're trying to respawn the player who is eliminated. So we'll say our for character is equal to our result dot our eliminated character. So now this is going to be the player that gets eliminated. Now that we have the for character, we also need to get the agent for this for character. So to do that, we'll just say our agent, we'll make a new variable called agent, and it's going to be equal to for character dot get agent, just like so. So now we also have our agent, which we can use. So the next thing we want to do is, after the player is eliminated here, is respawn that agent. So to do that, you just write our agent dot respawn. Respawn is just a built-in function in Verse. And then if we actually go first, we need to use this utilities directory. So just again, copy and paste it. Then if we look, it takes a vector and a rotation. So let's go ahead and just make a vector 3 like so. But you see here, we need to use spatial math. So let's go ahead and add that up here. And then we also need a rotation. So I'll just use identity rotation. So just like that, now we're actually respawning the agent. So after the player respawns, now we want to go through all of our respawners and try to respawn the respawner. Also, one more thing that I missed out on is here, if it is available, after we do everything else, then we also want to return true because the respawner is available, which also means that we can now delete that return false that we added earlier. So now back down here, after we respawn, we want to go through every single one of the respawners, just like so. So for every single, let's say like in our respawners, we want to call this function called try respawn. So I will write re.try respawn, and we'll actually send it our respawn TP. The issue with this is it'll go to the first teleporter, and if this is available, it'll all work. It'll teleport the player, everything will go through, but then it'll go to the next teleporter and do the same thing if it's also available. So to fix this, we want this for loop to stop once one of these functions return true. So what I'm going to do is actually make a new variable right above here, and I'm going to call this has found, and it's going to be a logic variable, and we'll set it equal to false because it has not been found yet. So in this for loop, you can actually add a comma here and say not has found. So what this will do is it'll continue looping for as long as this has found is false, because not has found, which means it's not true. Now all we need to do is actually get whatever this try respawn function returns, because up here you see it returns a logic, so either a true or a false. So we'll call it is found, and we'll just set it equal to whatever this returns, and then just set has found equal to is found. So again, let's go back from the start. For every single player, it's going to track if the player is eliminated, and if the player is eliminated, it's going to first get the agent, then respawn the agent. So this will just respawn the player at a spawn pad. Then it's going to go through all of our respawners, and it's going to call this try respawn function. So whenever this try respawn function happens, it will return true if it's available, and not, it will return false. So as it goes through the first respawner, if it's not available, it's going to set has found equal to false, just like it is already, and continue looping until it finally does return true and find an available spawner. Also, whenever a respawner is available, a teleporter or our teleporter is going to be teleported to it, and this reset function is going to be called that just resets the spawner after 3 seconds. So now let's go ahead and set this up in game. Go back to your UEFN, hit verse, build verse code. Now if you go back down to your content browser, you'll have the respawn manager, which you can drag into the play space. Now you have your respawn TP, so this is going to be a teleporter device. If you go to all, search for teleporter, drag it into the play space. Here you can just change the teleporter group to none and the teleporter target group to none. And also I'm just going to disable visibility. Then I'm going to go down here, and I'm also just going to turn on face player in teleported direction so that it will teleport the player facing in the location of this teleporter. Now let's go back down here and just select that. Next we have our array of respawners. So if I add an element, all it has is a prop. So if I just go down, I'm actually going to create a custom prop so that it uses the lowest amount of memory possible. So let's just go ahead and hit right click, go to blueprint class and click building prop. Here I'm just going to name this our respawn prop and open it up. And in this, you don't actually need anything. You can just compile, save, because there doesn't need to be anything inside this prop. You can just drag it into the play space. As you can see, it actually has a location and rotation. So this is going to be our respawn prop 1. Then I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate a few more. One over here, and one over here. Then if I go back down here, add 4 elements to my respawners and then just select the props inside of them, just like so. Now the last thing we need to do is actually activate our teleporter whenever the player respawns. So go to whatever spawn pads that your player is going to be spawning on during the game. So these should just be off to the side somewhere. They don't need to be inside of your map. The player won't actually be there at any point. They're just going to be used to respawn the player because you have to have a spawn pad. But for both of these, we actually need to go into our teleporter, scroll down, find the teleport function here, add 2 elements, and then just select both of the spawn pads that you're going to use, or however many that you have, and then activate them both off of on player spawned. And then you're done. That's all you need to do. Let me go ahead and launch session to test this out. All right, so now in game, if I go ahead and respawn, which will eliminate me, you'll see I instantly respawn at one of these spawn pads. And if I respawn twice really fast, because that one is currently resetting, you'll see I go to a different spawn pad. And that's all you need to know to be able to set up your own instant respawn device using Verse. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to like and subscribe, especially if you want to see more tutorials just like this one. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one.